Hi, this is Jon Mercer from EasyCalm.com. In this brief session, I want to talk to you about control issues. Now, control issues are a really big deal. If you suffer with anxiety, agoraphobia, panic attacks, social anxiety, or any of these things, what you're really dealing with underneath the surface is control issues. And here's the way it works. Someone who has anxiety, for example, if you have social anxiety, what you're really having is you're feeling a loss of control in social situations, and you're reacting against that. Now, the way that you deal with these kind of control issues that cause anxiety is by very gradually expanding your comfort zone, just one little tiny step at a time. Now, there are people that tell you that you can just make one fell swoop, just one big step, and fix your anxiety problems. But what I find is the most productive way to go about it is very small baby steps, one at a time, where you build up very slowly. And if you're dealing with control issues, and if you're watching this, there's a pretty good chance you are, the way that you begin to relax some of that control, to let go a little bit and just let things be, that's the goal. You don't begin by just suddenly overnight letting things go and just, the way you do that is by expanding this comfort zone in very small increments. And you want to start out in the smallest possible way. For example, if you have social anxiety and you're uncomfortable around people, then there's one technique that I discuss in the new EasyCalm video series called the Speed Merchant that can really help with this. And I'll give you a brief overview of what that is. It's basically a method of getting in and getting out very, very quickly. Now, this same technique can be used for all sorts of anxiety-related problems. Get in and get out very, very quickly. And the idea here is to get close to the situation that causes you the anxiety, but get out of it very quickly before the anxiety really has a chance to kick in. Now, every time that you do that, every time you get close to this situation and out of it without having a negative reaction, then you build up a positive association up here with that event. And I'll give you a quick example of that. Back in the day when I suffered from anxiety problems, I had an anxiety of supermarkets. And I know it sounds kind of ridiculous today, but at the time it seemed horrifying and very real. Now, the way that I used this get in and get out sort of speed merchant strategy was by going to the supermarket, but I wouldn't stay. I wouldn't go and shop. I would go there and perhaps just park in the parking lot, look at the front door, turn around and leave. And then the next day I would go and walk in the front door and walk right back out and leave. And the third day I might walk in the front door, walk around one small aisle, and then walk straight out, leave, and go home. And I built up very, very slowly in things in what I was comfortable with, in other words. Now, this is just one example of like how I used it, but this same procedure works in a lot of different ways, from agoraphobia to social anxiety and all sorts of things. Because what you're doing with this is you're very slowly expanding your comfort zone. But the real key to it is this. You never want to take on too much too soon. That will really nullify all of the progress that you're making. So what you want to do is start very small. And believe me when I tell you, it does not matter how small you start. It really doesn't. The only thing that matters is that you decide on some course of action, such as, in my case, going to the parking lot of the supermarket, parking the car, and then driving home. That seemed like a really tiny thing to most people, but it was important for me because I was building up a pattern of being successful in going to the supermarket. So what you're really going after here is a pattern of success, a pattern of positive feelings in or around these situations that used to cause you anxiety. Now, you'll find a lot more about this in the EasyCalm video coaching series, where I go into detail about different ways this can be used. But you can begin trying that in your own life, just to try expanding your comfort zone, but only slightly. Remember, you never have to push too far too soon, and in fact, that defeats the purpose. Every little tiny step, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is contributing to you having positive feelings about being close to the thing that gives you the anxiety. So keep that in mind. I hope it helps you out, and be sure to check out the video coaching series for more information on this speed merchant technique and all of the other techniques that we go into there. If you got any questions, as always, give me an email at john@easycalm.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.